have been several stories that Marshall, Alex, and Patience are two teenagers. They're high school seniors, and we reached them during the school year, and Alex has longer hair, and we asked him to be Jesus on Good Friday service. And Monday, Thursday, the two of them accepted the Lord, and now they're going to get married in September. And then probably my favorite transformation story is Kevin. He was in divorce court with Amy. They have one daughter, JJ, and it was the final one. They were settling all money and stuff, custody, and he said to Amy, "What would it take for us not to do this?" Amy said, "Well, he doesn't come to church, she does. You'd have to give your heart 100% to Jesus and go to counseling tomorrow with Pastor Clark." Both those things happened that Thursday. It was on a Wednesday. And he's not missed a single week in about 3.5 months. So coming to see me. He volunteers for everything. Amy's in church every Sunday. Whenever he would come, it was only 2 times a year in JJ's programs. But now they come and don't sit in the back row. They sit behind Connie, the pastor's wife. And Amy just has a big smile all the time.
Thanks be to God. That's awesome. That's great.
We've had a year where we've watched a family come in and be baptized, and it's interesting the way that it happened. One of our leaders, one of our Eden families, Phil and Joy Park, Phil has served as big brother to this family. And it's a couple of young men. It's Marquise and Micah, and their mom is Melinda. I had the privilege of baptizing all 3 of them just a few weeks ago, and they've all come to Christ. And that was through basically Phil and Joy Park. Joy actually went through a basic Bible study, Dr. Chick Shaver's study with Melinda, led her to Christ, and then we baptized all 3 of them just a few weeks ago.
I have different examples, many, but I just gonna give a few of them. This year, since we started, I was focused on prayer. That was my theme of the year. And one member, the woman on the church, she was about to, she was having problem, issues in the family. Then when I leave to go to my office, she just come back, she said, really the message was touch me, and I feel like I'm born again. So she said, like, the problem that I was having with my husband, I'm going to go back and we are going to resolve everything. Then she said that I was ready to leave the church because she was saying my husband is saved and I'm saved, but I don't see him change fact every time. But on that day, she said that everything was stopped and she changed, and now she attends the church every time. And this year is really amazing. It was amazing according to what God is doing in our ministry.
Amen. That's wonderful. We have several home groups that meet, a couple home groups, and they meet weekly. And we were, this one particular Sunday, we're meeting in a home group, and just a small group of about 4 to 5, 6 people. And we got ready to close our time together, and we always usually end by just saying, how can we pray? How can we encourage each other this week as we leave from this place and go to our different places? And we kind of one by one shared how we could pray. And then one young lady who just been joining us from KU, had been coming recently, just kind of began to cry. And just by her beginning to cry, we were wondering, why are you crying? And she said, I used to be close to God, but now I feel so far away. And just kind of summarizing what she was saying and articulating, and she just began to weep. And so we just asked as a group, would you like to just kind of draw near to God? God has promised, if you draw near to Jesus, He will draw near to you. And she said, I'd like to pray. And so there we were, just 5 or 6 of us. We just began to pray for her. And she prayed, Lord, I just want to come back to you. I want to feel close to you in my life. And since then, she's been more of a regular part of our congregation, and she's helped us serve and do some serve days in our community. And so just really excited about the marvelous work that it was unexpected. It was just one of those moments where God broke in and touched the heart of this young KU student for Jesus. And now she's journeying with Jesus in a new and fresh way.
Yeah, we started not too long ago, about I think we're about 9 months in now,
Mhm.
close to it. And one thing that we do at the end of every service is specifically, in particular, in the beginning of the stages of our church, we've tried to create creative space for people to respond to Jesus at the end of every message that we give on Sundays. And it's just been so incredible with the responses of people that have come to our church, have helped us start this church, that have had relationships with Jesus in the past and that have a relationship with Jesus, but just seeing so many of our close friends, but also people that we've met just continue to make next steps. I remember one in particular, it was a couple Sundays ago, I was preaching and we were talking about just sin and barriers in our lives that created a problem between us and Jesus, and invited jokingly, we have candles at all of our tables, and I had a lighter that I light the candles with, and I left it on the table, and I jokingly was like, and if you want to burn your sin, then just burn the paper, and I get done with the message.
Somebody picked it
I
up.
get done with the message, and one of my good friends, he picks up the lighter and he burns the paper with his sin on the paper, and I was like, dude, that is so great. And so just had a moment with him, and I said, probably shouldn't do that because there's a fire alarm that we're renting a school. It's like, probably shouldn't have fire in the school, but
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you. That's great. If you want to burn some more, let's go outside, you know? And so it was just a really great moments with our people and a lot of close friends.
And the sprinkler didn't go off?
No, everything was great. Everything was great.
Thanks be to God.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
We had a lady that she had gone through drug rehab and needed a change of scenery in her life so that she could get away from some influences, and they moved to our area and started coming to our church, was invited by one of the ladies in our church, and through some just through worship, some conversations with several people, and with this lady that invited her, she started to say, I don't understand. My mom seems to really love God. You really seem to love God. I've never fallen in love with God. And after one of our services, she was just blubbering, really is the only term that you can say for it. And a group of people gathered around her, and she goes, we were just asking what's going on, and she said, well, I think I fell in love with God today. And so we just walked her through that and what salvation is and all that kind of thing. And she was baptized a little while later, and she's terrified to be up in front of people. But the way our folks cheered for her and that kind of thing afterwards was just a real sign of that she has died from one life and arisen to a new life.
So good. So good.